Okay. So we are going to open the file and bring it in our RAM in a memory location which will be identified by F. Because we are opening the file for reading purpose, we have opened it the file story.txt in R mode, read mode. Then we are reading the entire content of the file in one go using read. We have seen yesterday that there are three ways of reading, three methods which deals with reading. They are read, read line, and read lines. Okay, so we'll read it, the entire content, and will capture each of the entire content which is in the form of a string in a variable labeled as data. Whatever is the string content, if you use a split method on that string, okay, and you do not provide any argument, by default the splitting point is a splitting character is taken as the white space characters which are nothing but either blank space or line change. So jahan bhi, wherever it will get blank space or line change, it will act as breaking point, and then whatever is before that will be converted into one element of the list. ठीक है? तो देखोगे, if I put print words here, print words, it will give me each word inside a list as string element. And if you print data, चलो इसको एक बार execute करते हैं. You will see, if you printed data, the data was the entire string read from the file as it is in the form of a string. So you can imagine one triple quote starting here before M and that triple quote ending here after M. So this, all the lines is one single value which is stored as string inside this variable data. On this string, we have taken the splitting point as space and line change. So जहां जहां भी space and line change हुआ है, there you will split, and whatever was before it you will keep capturing as string elements in the list. So, and that list is saved in the list known as words. So this is the list, so you can see starting and closing, and each of the members or elements is string element, which is nothing but the word of the file. Okay, because we know that the file is, the words are separated by line change character or blank space character. So you have got all the words as different elements in the list, as different string elements in the list. Now, once you have got this in the words list, what I'll do is I will iterate over it in the loop. And we know that when we use for loop and the list or the string, whatever, or a tuple, so every time if you have used list for iterating in the for loop, every time whatever variable I low, x low, y low, yeah, even word, whatever identifier you give, in that variable every time one element will come in every round of the loop, one element will be assigned to this. If it is I will become first time my, second time first. So here it is word, so word variable will become first time my, it will get inside, it will check if this word, we have used membership operator here. ठीक है, तो अगर मेंबरशिप नहीं, पहले बेसिक अप्रोच देखते हैं. बेसिक अप्रोच विल बी फर्स्ट टाइम इफ इट बिकम्स माई द वर्ड, तो पहली बार कंपेयर करोगे, इज द वर्ड सेम एज मी डबल इक्वल टू विच इज यूज्ड फॉर कंपैरिजन विथ कैपिटल एम और अपर केस एम, or is it equals to my, or is it equals to me in small lower case, or is it equals to my in lower case. Remember or use karna hai. So if the word happens to be either of these values, a counter that you have already assigned will increase itself by 1. So initially it was assigned 0. So if the first word is, such word is found which happens to be my, counter will become 1. Next time word will become the second word of the file, that is first. Okay, then first is none of these words, this counter will remain same. Then book, third time word will become book, book is again not same. So in this way it will match each of the words in the list and we'll see, and the counter will correspondingly increase that many times wherein each of the word matches one of these. Okay, and then at the after the loop or outside the loop, the last value of C will be number of me and my. तो ये देखो program और ये बताओ कि is it clear कि how to read a file, then break it into words inside a list and then match each of the words in the list to check how many of those words match either me, my in upper and lower cases, and correspondingly you will be increasing the values every time you find such word, and at the end you will be printing the final value of C, which is keeping track of number of such words. तो ये question समझ में आया? Is it clear? Let me know.
So can you explain the first part again?
First part, which part? Line number बताओ.
That first part, breaking one, sir.
Split.
Yes, sir.
Okay. देखो, let's say okay, you have one string wherein you have some random text string element. I love ice creams. Okay. Now, on this string, I will use a split. Okay. I'll write x is equals to a dot split. Now you tell me, what will split do?
It will split all the words which have spaces between them.
So x will be assigned what x? What will be the data type of x?
It will contain a table consist of I.
Table.
Loved separately like that.
Table नहीं होगा ना. What is that called? Table तो नहीं है वो. देखो.
Tuple, sorry.
Tuple नहीं है. What is this? It's a list. Tuple में तो round brackets आएगा ना.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yes. Right. Now.
Yes, sir.
If I use for I in x and print I, what will happen every time? First time I will become?
First time I will become I.
हाँ, ठीक है. Second time I will become love. Third time ice. Fourth time cream, and every time print will print and then change the line. So yes, each sir. Of the words will be printed on different line.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then finally I have printed x as well. तो वो list भी दिखा रहा है तुम्हें, right?
Yes, sir.
So यहाँ पे भी वही हो रहा है. What happens is this f dot read is taking the entire content of the file, okay, and is saving in the form of this. Just a minute. And it is being saved in this form. Imagine कर सकते हो कि f dot read जो भी return कर रहा है ना वो ऐसे save हो जा रहा है in the variable data.
Yes.
ठीक है? And once you have got everything in data as just like this, okay, so what happens is after that you are breaking it into words. Okay, words में break कर रहे हो and then from each of the word यहाँ पे मैं I लिखा हूं, अगर मान लो इसके यहाँ पे words लिख दे, this x will also change words because see you can take x and I also, but we should always give logical names. जो relevant names होता है as far as possible we should try to give. Okay, word. तो वही यहाँ पे काम किया था मैंने. So because this list is nothing but a list of words, so I have instead of x I have given the name as words, And every time when one value will be fetched, that will be one of the word of the list words. So therefore I have taken a relevant name word. Yeah, words, yeah, word. So that is the only thing I have done. You can take X and I, no problem. But it's a good programming practice or convention to use relevant names. Okay, and once you get, every time you get a new word, you will match it whether it is me or it is my or in upper and lower cases, and correspondingly if it happens to be that case, you are going to increase the count by 1. So final value of C will give you the, outside the loop will give you the answer. अबे समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now second approach is use membership operator. क्यों? Why we can use membership? देखो ये लंबा हो जा रहा है, it becomes lengthy. ठीक है? Instead you can use this way. Is this word, every time you're getting a new word, is it a member of this list? Is it one of the values in this list? If this word happens to be one of the match elements matching from this list, then this entire thing will result in true. And if in front of if you, the moment you will get true, it will get inside and increase the counter. ये वाला approach देखो, समझ में आया कि नहीं? The word being the member of this list, one of the members of this list, if it happens to be true, then it will go inside it and execute. I hope nobody has made mistake in this question. There was one question, which of the following is a membership operator? So there were two options, in and not in. अच्छा ये बता, is it clear? Nanika?
It's clear, sir.
Good. Have you tried creating files on computer?
Yes, sir.
Were you successful?
Yes, sir. Most of the time, yes.
Okay, wonderful. Okay. So that is where, and now, because we have seen that, now we'll go on to the next question.
I used count method, sir.
Count में क्या किया? Just a minute. Count. Acha, in count you have given that string as an argument.
Yes, sir.
That is correct. You will get marks, but most of the time they are expecting this way. Take it, Alvin. So,
Okay.
तो board में generally the examiners will be tuned to this sort of answers. Okay. Aditya, pickling and serial, that is not sterilization, that is serialization, but I have not taken up those topics. ये कहाँ देख लिया तुम? I hope you are not going through class 12 videos. That's highly not recommended at this point of time. Okay. I have uploaded a video. मैंने pickling और serialization वाला video upload कर दिया. 11th में कर दिया क्या? Just let me check. 1 minute. I should not have done that. If I have done that, I'll correct it. Where is it? I think Aditya, you have gone through class 12 videos. Don't do it. उसका जरूरत नहीं है. I'll come to that topic. That is under file binary files. ठीक है? Binary file के अंदर का topic. We are still dealing. Remember we had discussed that there are 3 types of files: normal file, text files, CSV files, and binary files. So that pickling and serialization concept, that is serialization and deserialization concept, will be seeing under binary files. Okay. So this was the first question. Now coming to second question. What is it? Let us see. देखो, now they are saying write a function am count. So I hope you are familiar with function. नहीं भी हो तो चलो एक बार देख लेते हैं यहाँ. So write a function in Python which should read each character of a text file. So rather what I'll do is I'll create a separate file without functions first, and then I'll explain you with functions. No, just a minute. All right, okay. Yeah. Now the question reads, let's ignore this function part. We'll solve it normally first, and then we will come to it. Okay, function se kaise banta hai? We should read each character of the text and should count and display the occurrence of the alphabet A and M. ठीक है, including upper case and lower case. ये तुम्हारा output दिया हुआ था, sample output. तो you don't have to consider this, just for your sake of your understanding. The question is this much only. So you have to count कि in that file how many times character A and M appear. So total count you have to display. So what you will do is you will open the file count of A and M in the file. So first of all, you will open a file in story.txt in read mode. Open किए हैं तो we'll close it as well. Okay. Right. Now once you have got the file, you will read it and store it in a variable, the content in the form of string. Now we need to break it into words here, because we don't have to, we will not break it into words by using split, because the question says you have to do something based on each character. So rather we'll not break it here, we'll take it in the form of a string only, and we will we'll take one counter which will keep track of the number of A and M. What we'll do is we will directly use data in the loop. So what will happen? Every time ch, which stands for character, from this data, which is a string containing the entire content of the file as it is in the form of a string. Let me correct it first. In the form of a string. So every time, इसमें क्या होगा? अगर यहाँ पे if I print ch, what will happen? In each line, each character of the file will be printed. First line will be having capital M, second line will be having Y, third line will be having one blank space, fourth line will be having F, like that. Let's see. So from this string, entire string, every time one character is given in the variable whatever you are putting here. Okay. So here we don't have to print the string. We have to see every time you get a new character from the entire string, you will check if that character happens to be A or M. ठीक है? So अच्छा, इसमें तुमको क्या बोल रहा है क्वेश्चन में? अच्छा, you have to mention the separate counts. A का कितना है count अलग and M का different. So you will keep two variables, one for counting A and another for counting number of M's. ठीक है? So if your character that you have just got happens to be A or small a, what you will do is you will increase the counter of a variable because you have just found the one that character to be a, either in uppercase or lowercase. However, if you have found the character to be m or lowercase m, upper and lowercase m, then you will increase the counter of m, right? And then you will print this. Okay. And execute. So you will get, there are 14 A's which either in uppercase or lowercase, and there are 48 M's either in upper and lowercase in the file story.txt. So here I have not done word based looping. I have done character based looping because I had to deal with characters. So therefore I did not use split for breaking into words. Split is should majorly be used when you have to do some operation based on words. Okay. तो ये solution देखो and let me know if it is clear. You can do this way as well. Ch in a comma capital A. You can do this way as well. फिर यहाँ भी वैसे कर सकते हैं. So ये देखो and let me know if you have understood.
Understood, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, if it is clear, we'll see कि how to create a function. Function में क्या करना है? You don't have to do anything. This entire piece of code, you will put inside the definition of a function. उसका नाम दिया हुआ है am count. Whenever this function is called, this piece of code should be executed. This piece of code should be executed. Okay. So what happens? Function being first time, the program will see that this is a function definition and will not do anything. It will simply proceed. Then it will come to this line, which is the first line to be executed. So the moment it sees this, or when the moment the function is called, this will come into existence, and this piece of code, whatever is given inside the body of this, will start executing. Okay. So, and once this piece of code is executed, you will see the program doing the same thing. So normal approach में without function हम लोग लिखते हैं, और this, right. And what is board asking is कि तुम्हें एक function बनाना है. The function which when called will do that activity of doing this. So just put the entire code inside the name of the function which they have mentioned. So remember, at times board will mention the name, at times board will not mention the name. So if board mentions the name, you have to give this name only to the function which will be doing this activity when called. So यहाँ पे देखो ये भी कंफ्यूज कर जाता है. ऊपर में am count बोला है, यहाँ they forgot कि they have mentioned am count. Here they are mentioning EU count. Anyways, so you will see that the moment this function is called, output should be produced like this. Okay. Here ये output आना चाहिए. Right? Is it clear? कैसे करते हैं with function and without function? Now next question. The question says write a function in Python to count the number of lines in a text file. Story.txt starting with NA. अच्छा, इससे पहले one concept we'll see. Okay, Ankit, no problem. So we'll see one concept. And that is here. Forget about this part. I'll rather delete it for now. So reading a file line by line using read lines. So what I'm saying is I have to read the entire file, but one line at a time karke, you will read every line. So for that, you will have to understand one concept. Right. Reading entire file line by line, line by line. So इसमें क्या होगा? You will read first line, you will read second line, you will read third line. But इसमें we'll have to remember one concept. Every time you read a line, you use a read line method. It gives you, or it returns one line of the file as string. But what we are going to leverage is the fact that if there are no further lines to be read, no further lines to be read, then read line method will return empty string. Remember empty string. Empty string on every subsequent usage. उसके बाद कितनी बार भी use कर लो. It doesn't matter how many times you're using after reading the last of the last line. Any further attempt of using read lines will always give you empty string on subsequent usage. Subsequent usage. ठीक है? So if you have to read line by line, what you will do is, so read line में एक problem है. If you want to read using first time you will use read line, it will read the first line. Second time you will use read line, it will read the second line and return the second line. So, but there is one problem. You don't know how many times to use read line, because in advance, if you are opening a file to read, you will never know how many lines are there in the file. Okay. So there is a problem. We don't know, we are not aware how many lines are there. So what can be done is, if you want to use read line, कल हमने देखा था क्या वो infinite loop वाला, while I think we had seen true, ठीक है, line, yeah, we had seen this, line is equals to F, considering F has been opened in read mode, dot read line. Okay, F dot read line, and if this line is not equals to empty string, open and close bracket, then we'll do some processing, else we will break. Okay. The moment you get such a the time or in the iteration where no line is, where this if happens to be true, or here if happens to be false, it will come in else and break. And when will if become false? When will this condition in front of if will become false in the header of if? Whenever there is nothing returned by read line, in which case we can safely say that there is no further lines to be read. So we have just recalled what we did yesterday. Tell me, is this concept clear? Ki, how you can read using read line the entire file using sort of loop which keeps on running. That is infinite loop, and when it will break whenever there is a read line will return empty string. ये clear है तो बताओ, then I'll move forward. Meanwhile, Ankit, tell me, were you able to create the file? Still showing permission problem. Yes.
Clear, sir.
Clearer. Ankit, were you able to create? Just let me know. चलो आगे हम डिस्कस करते हैं इसको फिर. So another way. अच्छा, उसके पहले एक और तरीका देख लेते हैं. We had also seen this कि how to using read lines कैसे read करते हैं. Still showing permission problem. That's, I don't know, strange. Okay, I'll try to explore Google में क्या बोल रहा है कि क्यों ऐसा problem हो सकता है. Ankit, maybe not today. I have to go somewhere right after 9. So maybe tomorrow or day after we'll sit over that and we'll see what's going on. Right. तो यहाँ देख लो. Using read lines, you will read all the lines, entire line, in the form of list of lists. And this, because this is a list, every time one element of the line will be returned, which will be string, which will be nothing but one line of the file. So using that also you can, using read lines also you can read all the lines one by one. So we'll use one of these concepts to solve this question. Write a function in Python to count the number of lines in a text file story.txt which is starting with an alphabet A. Okay. Here you can take the name of your own function because they have not mentioned what function name should be taken. So you can imagine your own, assume your own function name and you can write. But if they mention in the boards, always take that name. Nahin to you'll end up losing marks. Okay, let us see this question. So what we are doing is we are opening the file. When this function is called, ये नहीं था question number. Let me see. Number of lines starting with it. Yes, so we'll open the file. When this function is called, this will come into existence. A file will be opened and will be saved in a copy of it will be saved in memory location identified by F. Counter we are taking is 0, which will keep track of number of lines starting with here. Now we'll use while loop to keep running the loop till the time we find a line which is given by read line, which is not an empty string. First time read किए हो, एक line मिलेगा. First line you will get. You will see if that line is not empty, that means it is a valid line. Then in that case, line which is nothing but one single line, you will check its first character because it is a string. the first character of this line of this string will be line 0, index position 0 pe. If the index position 0, the index position of this string or this line happens to be A or small a, you will increase the counter of 1. So entire string ka, which is nothing but a line, if that happens to be upper or lower case a, you will increase the counter by 1. Okay? And you will keep reading lines and you will check every line which is not a valid line. If the first character of that line is either a or a, you will every such time you will increase the counter 1 by 1. And the moment you will get this read line in the loop returns empty string, it will come in else part, it will break and it will come out, and the last value of C will be number of such lines which had either capital A or uppercase A or lowercase a. ठीक है, बताओ ये solution समझ में आया? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll see one more solution. अब देखो ये read lines से बना है. That was using read line. Now what I am solving is using read lines. So here what I have done is I have read the entire file in the form of lines which will be inside list. ठीक है? तो कुछ ऐसा होगा if I print lines. देख रहे हो? All the lines are made one element of the list. So first line, second line, third line. Remember \n is also a part of the line, which makes the line change happen. Okay, and only the last line will not have \n if you have not pressed enter after the last line in the file. Right. So once you have obtained the form of a list and you use that list itself, so every time it will give you one element in this variable line. First time this first line will come in line. Second time second line will come in line. Okay? And the moment you get one valid this one element of the line, so that is one line itself, this string, you will check whether the 0th index of this string, which is m, is it in this case first line में m है, so it will not be true. So it will यहाँ पे counter will not be increased. जहां जहां तुम्हें मिलेगा, whenever this line happens to be starting with a, it will increase the counter. So this is the second approach. ठीक है? Next question. Or rather, what I'll do is write a method. चलो एक और question देख लेते हैं. Display words in Python. To read lines from a text file and display those words which are less than 4 characters. So यहाँ पे word based processing है. तो again we will be using split. ठीक है? तो हमें we have to read the file and we have to find such words in the file, number of such words in the file which are less than 4 characters. तो हम लोग क्या करेंगे?
N function.
len यूज करेंगे, करेक्ट. पर कैसे यूज करेंगे वो देखते हैं. 12 नहीं, yes, display word. In fact, this was the question I asked in yesterday's pre-board for class 12. Exactly यही question था. When this function is called, this piece of code, this function should come into existence and this piece of code should be executed. As a result of which, what should happen is file will be opened in memory location of the RAM, will be labeled as f, and that file will be story.txt for the purpose of reading. In that location labeled as f, where the file is copy of the file is opened, we will read the entire file, and in the form of a string, it will be captured in another memory location, which will be labeled as data. उसको पूरा हम लोग we will tokenize it in the form of words. Okay, we'll break it in the form of words using split, default character being space or line change, splitting character. Okay, we'll use the counter for finding such words which are less than 4 characters. This list is containing the list of words in the form of string. So every time you will iterate through this list, each will give you each of the element one by one, which itself will be the words of the file in order. The first index will be first word, second index will be second word, third index will be, that is index 0 will be first word, index 1 will be second word, like that till whatever number of words are there, it will be thrown one by one in the word. Every time you get a new word, you will check if its len is less than 4, you will increase the counter by 1. So in all such cases wherein the word that you get from the list happens to be whose length is less than 4, or whose length happens to be less than 4, only in such cases the counter will be increased. So final count of C outside the loop will give you number of such words whose length were less than 4. Right, and you are printing it, then the file is closing, the function is ending. If you execute it, you will get. अब बताओ ये clear है? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. पूजा समझ में आ रहा है? Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. So what I will do is, give me a minute. Class 12, 54. I think in this file only I have given the solutions. Okay, so what I'll do is, I have discussed till here. There are few more questions जिसके solution है. Okay, so I'll send you this file. That is the question with the solution. 1 or 2 questions that I have not discussed yet. You will analyze yourself, and tomorrow we'll revisit them if required, if you face difficulty in those questions. Okay? So we'll end our class here. You can see the very easy question comes for the board. ये 3 marks के question आते हैं. So you will hardly take, कितना time लगेगा ये line लिखने में? 1 or 2 minutes में हो जाएगा. ठीक है? So very easy questions will be coming. I have not given. This was in the question paper or one of the sample papers last किसी 4 or 5 years में. ठीक है? चलो, we'll stop here. Ankit, you wait for a minute.